Yeah, well, that is the biggest difference.
Yeah.
And that is what the glaring, obvious research is pointing to at this point, is that there are significant differences in all of these global physiological systems between the male and female body. And it's not because we have different parts.
Yeah.
We have the same parts mostly. It's that those parts work differently in each one of these organisms. So this is where we get into the science of the biological rhythm, which is the big difference. And this is the hormones, the hormonal effect, the hormonal cascade, and how it affects differently males and females because it's a different one.
Yep.
So in the male body, the biorhythm, or the main biological pace that's occurring, that's driving everything from the cardiovascular system to the respiratory system to the musculoskeletal system, the brain, the nervous system, the reproductive system, all of it, the metabolism, all of it is driven primarily by the 24-hour circadian rhythm.
Yeah.
And that's a 24-hour hormonal rhythm that happens within the male body and the female body, and we'll get to that. But in the male body, it's what drives everything else. It's what sets the pace for everything. So what that means is that from one day to the next, the male body and all those systems within it operate the same from day to day.
Consistent.
It's a daily repeating, very consistent rhythm and system in terms of a 24-hour period. What happens over a 24-hour period, there's a lot going on and a lot changing. That's the same case in the female body because we also have a 24-hour circadian rhythm and system. But that is not what drives all of those global physiological systems, again, from the cardiovascular system all the way to the nervous system to the metabolism. All those things in the female body are driven and set to the pace of the ovarian hormone cycle, because estrogen and progesterone have such profound effects on the female body globally, and they drive all of those systems operate.
Right.
So it's a lot more complex because we still have that cortisol, melatonin, circadian driven rhythm that happens on a daily basis. And that rhythm is occurring, but that rhythm is overlaid onto the core driving rhythm, which is the ovarian hormone rhythm.
Wow.
And that affects that 24-hour rhythm, which looks different in the female body from day to day. It's not like the male body where it's a repeat, same. It's something happens, the next day, something a little bit different happens. The next day, something a little bit different happens. And then when you zoom out to that month-long view and you look at what's happening with the estrogen and progesterone rhythm in a normally cycling woman, or in an actively cycling woman, I should say, not normally cycling, because even not normally cycling women have the same thing. But what you see there is that at those significantly different hormonal checkpoints that happen throughout that month-long, 28-day-ish period of a woman's cycle, there are these 4 significant hormonal checkpoints that are so different from the other ones. And then when you look at all the physiological processes at those checkpoints, they're also very different.
Right.
So that's what makes the understanding that women, and I joke about this because this is a little simplistic, but women are actually 4 different women over the course of a month, because we have these major hormonal shifts that happen throughout the month that change our global systems and how they all process, and make us into a different biological being with different needs, with different strengths, with different abilities, with different capacities at each one of these. Now, again, we look at our male counterpart and it's not the same. There's the same capacities, strengths, needs, abilities that happen for a male organism every day throughout the month. And the female organism does not have that same consistency. And so we're dealing with a much more complex system. And the problem that we've had with our science, with our policies, with our systems, with our infrastructures, is that we've tried to oversimplify things so that we can have an understanding and create something workable. But we can't do that with the female system because that's not the reality.
Yeah.
And all we're doing is gaslighting and overriding and misguiding and harming women by telling them that they need to be consistent and the same every day, that they need, the same diet, they need the same exercise routine, they need the same training routine, they have to perform the same way every day, they have to have the same schedules every day. That does not work for women.
Yeah.
And women know that, but we just don't have the opportunity granted to us to operate in a way that actually works for us and for our body.
All right, friends, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Radical Health Radio. We got a fresh new podcast for you every Wednesday. If you enjoyed the show, consider liking, subscribing, reviewing, and rating us on your podcast platform. It helps to spread this message of radical health. We'll see you next week.